the biggest patch of FC24 has dropped, and it has the potential to change the gameplay forever. But hold on, does it actually live up to its potential? That is what we are going to discuss today, and I am going to show you how you can adapt easily to this patch as well as the biggest actual gameplay changes. Now I know you might have watched many videos discussing the patch notes, however guys, we just quickly have to go through this, okay? Strikers and wide midfielders will tend to be less aggressive when trying to mark central attackers. Significantly reduce the amount of pressure the defensive team can apply along the sidelines. This is the biggest change, guys. Why? Remember when I told you earlier that this year zonal defense has been introduced, which is basically auto overload ball side. When using a depth higher than 45, players will attempt to mark opponents higher up the field and close the ball possessor, which introduced auto pressing, right? Because of this auto pressing, the midfield was very congested. However, what happened was that teams did auto overload ball side, and many players including myself did not like that. Now with this gameplay change, it is very likely that the auto overload ball side is completely gone, and that will change the way we defend, and that will change the way we look at custom tactics. Now there is a common misconception that this zonal defense or auto overload ball side was only activated when using 71 depth. No, that is not true. It was activated the moment the depth number went higher from 44, right? So when you put 71, team does auto offside traps and also does auto press. So when the depth goes higher from 44, the higher the number, the more aggressive that press will be. And that left defenses completely out of shape. Yes, you had auto pressing, but your defense was completely out of shape. If you like to defend with a shape, that was not possible because your RCM would overlap towards LCM, LCM would become LM, and the LM would be aggressively trying to press the ball carrier. That is assuming if the opponent was attacking from the left side and vice versa, right? So the shape of defense was completely gone. Now EA said that it is fixed in this gameplay patch. The biggest change is defending. Like I said, defending is harder. You will concede a lot of goals and you will struggle to defend. However, I am going to show you how you can actually adapt. But before that, we have another topic to discuss, and that is the finish shot plus playstyle. Have the finish shots been actually nerfed? I don't think so. I believe they have been nerfed from absurd angles, right? And very far out from the goal. But 20-25 yards finish shots from good angles are still going in, man. I came up against Son and Salah. They were banking those finish shots because I didn't purposely move my goalkeeper to see if they are actually going to score. And they did score those finish shots. So if you have those players, don't get disheartened. They are still viable. As we can see with the price of Graham Hansen, Trailblazer card, she went from 1.3 in panic. Now that people have seen that finish shots are going in still, she's back to 1.6, right? As of recording this video. So finish shots are still good. If you come up against someone who has that playstyle, make sure to move your goalkeeper. Now coming up to the biggest part, that is defending, guys. And with defending, it was zonal press. People thought only 71 depth, and some even good top players thought it is that way. But guys, it wasn't only with 71 depth. The higher your number went after 44, the more aggressive that zonal press was. The zonal press was still crazy when you put your depth to 60, 65. It was still crazy. And that is the number most players were using in their custom tactics. Now, suddenly, that auto press is gone, right? That AI assistance is gone. So what happens? People have been playing this game for almost 3 months now, and they got used to defending that way. Because they got used to defending that way, they will struggle to defend after the patch, because EA has actually taken out auto pressing, and auto overload ball side is gone. And I feel happy for that change because, see, I like to defend while keeping my shape. But auto overload ball side, although it had its advantages, it didn't allow me to defend the way I wanted, methodically, to cut out passing lanes and actually trap the opponent. Instead, it was a crazy press fest where the AI would apply the pressure and, the opponent would panic and give us the ball back. But it is not like that anymore. On the other hand, you can argue that, what about manual pressing? Is it buffed? No, manual pressing isn't really buffed. So that is something EA can work out in the next patch. However, for now, you have to focus on two things. Manual offside traps, okay? because I wouldn't recommend playing 71 depth. I would recommend playing 60 depth, and I would want you guys to do manual offside traps because the gap between midfield and defense has become huge. So you have to negate that gap. As you will see in this gameplay, there will be driven passes straight through the defense. So driven passes are very overpowered, talking offensively. So when you're defending against driven passes and you want to cut the gap between CMs and the midfield, like you saw over here, you would want to use offside traps. Just see, the gap between midfield and defense has become bigger. So you want to negate that gap, and you should always use the offside trap when the opponent is facing away from the goal. Do not use it when he is facing towards the goal. All right. And the most important thing, like I always advise, is to defend with shape. Previously this year, people argued that because of the auto press, it is just okay to, take your LCM towards LM and your LM would cover that for you because you would apply crazy pressure and most likely you would win the ball back. But because now it has been changed, you would want to prioritize defending with a shape. Your LCM must stay LCM, LM must stay LM, RCM must stay RCM, and you have to prioritize using right stick switching. Currently, I am running 2 on right stick switching and it is working very well for me. I want you to really focus on this clip, okay? See, my team is still shifting slightly towards the ball side. I am playing 60 depth and still they are giving me that auto press, but it is not as aggressive as it was before the patch, which is a good thing, right? As you can see, Pedri is shifting towards the ball side and Bellingham, who's the left midfielder, is also slightly shifting towards the ball side. The keyword being slightly, whereas previously they would just aggressively charge Carvajal and defense will be completely open on the other side. That is why switching was so overpowered and so necessary, because midfield was congested. But now they don't do it as aggressively. So see what happens. We are able to defend with shape. But again, you see the gap between midfield and defense is getting bigger. So you have to be mindful of that, and your switching needs to be on point, and that is right stick switching. If you don't right stick switch on time, you will struggle with defending post patch. So if you are conceding a lot of goals when you go in after this patch, guys, do not be discouraged. It is a good change. We have been used to of defending that way for a long time. It will take you at least a week to get used to this new defending, right? Unless you're a top tier player who has good switching and who understands the game well, that is another story. I was talking about driven passes being overpowered, right? Just look at this. Just look at this. It goes through the defense. It is very easy to actually penetrate defenses now. It is very easy. The game has become more offensive. Now, some players might like it, but I believe there should be some kind of balance. However, my opinion is that it is a good patch if it stays the same. In my opinion, it is a good patch. I don't know what other people are thinking, but this is my opinion. Why do I say so? Because manual defending is back and EA seems to be heading in the right direction. If you know how to manually defend, you would have better chances of conceding less goals compared to your opponent who previously might have relied on AI auto press. Let's see how long it stays this way, because as I know, EA always reverts back very quickly, right? But defenses are going to be opened up. Another thing that we need to talk about is goalkeeper movement. Has it been nerfed? EA claims so, but I don't think so. Goalkeepers are still crazy in this game. They are still moving like crazy. So goalkeeper movement is still very viable. So you want to use goalkeeper movement. Now you might see that I am abusing step overs and player locks and stuff like that in this game, and that is to test it out. Okay guys, I heard another content creator say that step over speed boost should be nerfed, ball roll scoop should be nerfed. No man, it should not be nerfed. At least let these things which have a little bit of attacking presence stay in the game. Otherwise, the gameplay will become boring. If the game becomes too realistic, it becomes boring. Okay, so we have to build on from what we have. If anything needs to be buffed, it is definitely manual pressing, right? And also one more thing, another negative that you will see is that rebounds are very overpowered. Driven passes become overpowered, and because driven passes become overpowered, rebounds from driven passes are crazy. And rebounds from tackles are crazy. So I think that needs to be nerfed as well. So when you do get a lot of rebounds against you, guys, just stay calm because they are overpowered as of now. Overpowered isn't the word, they are broken as of now, right? And that needs fixing. So I will quickly go through what else has changed and let you know if it has actually changed. More authentic controlled sprint speed. I believe it really hasn't been that noticeable if I'm being honest. I did use control sprint with various players in my team and it felt almost the same, alright? Tell me, where does it say that 71 depth has been nerfed? 71 depth only introduced auto offside traps to your game and slightly more aggressive zonal defense, right? Otherwise, the moment you went higher than 44, that pressure did come in. So if you think you were not using 71 depth, let's say you were using 60-65 depth, you weren't experiencing this, guys, you are completely wrong and deluded about that with all due respect, because it was still happening. There was still midfield congestion. There was still sideline pressure applied by your players the moment you went higher than 44. Yes, if you increase that number, the more aggressive it would have been. But like I said, and like I experienced in 71 depth as well as 60-65 depth, it is same. There is less auto overload ball side, less impact of zonal defense, and the AI tends to be very much less aggressive when trying to mark central attackers. That is completely correct. This one I didn't feel any difference. Decrease goalkeeper movement and positioning speed, like I already stated about finesse and control sprint speed. The biggest change in gameplay is most definitely defending, and it will change the way you defend. The best thing while attacking right now is using driven passes and abusing driven passes. So if you do these things and actually understand how to defend, you will see a lot of improvement in your gameplay. And I will make, of course, a dedicated defending tutorial. However, none of these patches can ever fix the fundamental issue of server and input delay. So if you want to have better connection, you might want to check this video out here.